What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rob's Gaming Table. Today on the table we have another Game of Thrones, the card game, 2nd edition Joust video for you from Gen Con 50. In this video, we have Rick playing Lannister Rains, and we got Robert playing Stark Fealty. We already saw Robert in a previous game, I believe in the graduated cut. We saw the Stark Fealty deck in action. And the Lannister Rains deck on the right, I believe, is very similar to the same one we've seen in a few other videos. Not the Clansman Jumper one, but the one just running more standard Lanny good stuff. And if you haven't already seen it, I recommend going back and checking out the Lanny Clansman Jumper matches from this tournament. And spoiler alert, there'll be a couple more matches, I believe, with that deck coming up. So stay tuned for that. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and hit that little notification bell button beside the subscribe button to be notified every time a new video goes up. Because normally YouTube only notify you every now and then, maybe not even every live stream and whatnot. So make sure you click that button. And also always click the like buttons on these Thrones videos so other people can find them. And that'd be much appreciated. So we got Sansa Stark and Catelyn Stark starting on the Stark side of things. And looks like we got Littlefinger on the Lannister side with a Rose Road. And we have Late Summer Feast flipped on the Lannister side to get him 9 big money there. And Calm Over Westeros on the Stark side. Not sure what he named to reduce claim with Calm Over Westeros, but either military or intrigue. Might be military, actually, with him not having any military icons on the board on the Stark side. But then again, naming intrigue wouldn't be bad either if you plan on losing a range challenge, because Catelyn's out there to block range triggers, which is huge for the Stark player. Lannister player looking to get Catelyn off the board or milked as soon as possible, I'm sure. Because you know she's going to be in every range challenge unless Tyrion's stealthing her out of it. Looks like Rick is debating playing a Great Hall here for his limited, but he's not 100% sure on that. He's got to look at the characters in his hand there, decide if that Great Hall is going to give him the best push, or maybe he has something else he'd rather play in his limited slot to get going. But he does do the Great Hall for a buck there, and kneels it right away. And gets the Hound in play, and saves 2?
Sitting on 2.
So I guess just a very bad start there for the Lannister player, only having a Rose Road in play. And I guess paying 5 for the Littlefinger to get more cards and not really getting it going. I think that's what happened there. I mean, I don't see March to the Wall played, so he didn't lose a character. But while I was rambling on there, I didn't see if Littlefinger was out already. But I think it makes sense with the gold that's left. Now, 5 gold on the Stark side to Marshall and Fealty. And Robert's going to take his time here and decide what he wants to put out to counter what he sees on the board. And remember, 2 gold on a Lannister plot card there has been saved, which could lead to ambush shenanigans. Most likely with a Burnman. So we got Great Hall on the other side now. And that helps get Fast Eddie on the board. Eddard Stark. No goal saved. Over to the Lannister player Rick for his challenges.
Cards in hand. I'm going to try L5R to see if I can get into that. And David should be here any minute.
So we're here in the top 16. This is one of 3 matches I'll be posting for the top 16. And I'll also post 3 matches for the top 8, then both top 4s and the finals. So lots more Game of Thrones LCG videos coming up. I'm also, I've got a couple tickets to Worlds. I got one for Thrones and one for L5R that I've been approved for the Wednesday and the Thursday. I still haven't purchased them yet. I'm not sure if I'm going. It is a little expensive to go to Worlds, coming from Southern Ontario, with flights and or driving and or hotels. But I do have an offer to sleep on someone's floor on an air mattress to save me some hotel money. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go that route. Plus, taking 4 or 5 days off work is pretty rough this time of year for me. But I'm trying to make it work, and you can help me make it work. Supporting the channel at patreon.com/Rob's Gaming Table. Yep, shameless plug there. If you want to donate to the channel, you can do like a one-time donation or a recurring donation by clicking the link in the description below. But if you guys want to see more videos from Worlds, click that link. Help me out.
I have to select the two.
Right, you have to select your two.
So I select
and
these
then you
two,
resources.
and then I can save one of them, and the other one.
So we got Podrick coming in to save a character here. Looks like Winter is came in to raise claim on the military challenge. Looks like Hound went in to block the unopposed. And claim was raised, of course, by that event. Using Fealty to pay for it, since it's a loyal event. And so Podrick came in, saved Littlefinger. Hound's going to die. So pressure is on here from the Stark player to the Lannister player. Hound is dead already. And now we got intrigue with Catelyn. Unopposed is blocked by Littlefinger. Gets a treachery out of hand for the intrigue claim. That is a huge pull. And we got a power of 2 coming in. Unopposed is blocked by Podrick. So it looks like Rick is just trying to slow the Stark player down here. And he hasn't gained any power yet. In fact, both players haven't gained any power yet. Oh, one on the Stark side from Sansa standing, though. Which I missed there, but yeah. So 1-0 for the Stark player. Now, the Lannister player, if he were running Valor, right now would be not a too shabby of a time to play it. You kill Fast Steady and Catelyn, and may not have to deal with them for quite a while, if at all, again. But I don't believe he is running Valor.
It's May now. It's not mandatory.
But Podrick and Littlefinger win the dead pile is in the end of the world, but Fast Steady and Catelyn would be huge, huge kills with Valor, but not going to happen here. Calling the banners into Here to Serve. So the Stark player is looking for a Maester, throw him in play. Most likely Lewin, and then we have Calling the Banners on the Lannister side to get 3 gold. Now, I'm not sure. With initiative here, the Lannister player won initiative, so he could have chosen to go first and chose Here to Serve to go first so that he would collect 4 gold.
Lewin's the only option, right?
But I don't think that happened here. I think the Stark player has been forced to go first. So he would have made Calling the Banners go off there, which we see why he got 3 gold. And then now we have a Maester Lewin in play.
Yep, I draw it. They're right there. I draw it. You're going first.
That's what you told me.
That is the call.
3 gold.
So yeah, the Stark player is going first, as we just heard there. So Catelyn Stark gets a duplicate. And we got a Heart Tree Grove put into play there to help reduce Stark cards by 1. Looks like he's debating kneeling the Great Hall here to get another character into play. Oh, he knelt Fealty.
Game of Thrones, the draft. If anyone would like to draft the Game of Thrones, the card game this morning, and has not yet signed up, you can come up to the front with generic event tickets or your specific event
And I think we have Winterfell in play now. Yeah, that's what it looks like, Winterfell. So all the Stark characters are +1. And at the start of a challenge, Robert there can kneel Winterfell to cancel triggered abilities off of cards during that challenge. Another way to screw over Rains for sure.
and Lord of the Rings, the card game. We'll be taking registration for that in just a little bit. Stay seated, we'll call you up.
So Stark Fealty is a good call with a lot of Rains decks running around, obviously. Catelyn and Winterfell, the fun police, coming in there and stopping Rains from triggering. Even if you lose an intrigue by 5, you prevent that from going off. You prevent tears from happening.
Call for Game of Thrones draft. and X-Wing Hangar Bay.
So the Lannister player is going to marshal now. He collects 5 gold on top of the 3 he got for calling the banners. So he's dealing with 8 here. And a Great Hall. So are we going to see some heavy hitting Lannisters hit the board here? Now we know from previous videos in this series from Gen Con that this Lanny Rains deck likes to go really wide. And just doesn't really care too much for the resets. They just build up the economy base, and they're able to just play big dudes out, dupe them up, bodyguard them up, and eventually just, you know, have too much on the board for you to deal with. A lot of characters gaining power. We'll see if Rick can get there or not. Rick's just checking out with the opposition's board here, running through some scenarios in his head, I'm sure. Checking out strength values, maybe reading Winterfell. Trying to figure out his game plan here, which way he wants to go with the large amount of cards he has in hand. He probably has many options on how to spend this 8 gold plus Great Hall. So we do see the Great Hall knelt. It's like he's got Jaime Lannister in hand. Another treachery there we can see. Couple locations. So yeah, it looks like based on the math there, he's debating Jaime. And then he'll have 4 gold left. So he's not sure if that's the route he wants to go. If he can make everything happen he wants to happen here.
Gold, cards in hand. 5.
And while we're waiting for Rick to marshal, if you haven't already seen all the other videos from Gen Con, you can check them out on Rob's Gaming Table on YouTube. I got playlists down below on the channel page there that you can check out. If you're interested in Legend of the Five Rings, I got a bunch of videos from their top cut, along with a bunch of Game of Thrones Swiss and graduated cut games are also on the channel already. And we have Canadian Nationals coming up on the channel in about a week from time of recording here on February 22nd, or sorry, September 22nd is what I'm trying to say. Friday, September 22nd, I'll have the live stream hopefully going from that tournament and recording videos. So lots of coverage will be coming up from Canadian Nationals. So stay tuned for that. And then possibly after that, we got the Atlanta tournament. I forget what the name of it is, but it's a cool one with the Swiss. Is done using Joust. The top 8, yeah, the top 8 is a draft, and then the top 4 is a melee, and then the winner of that melee table wins the tournament. Someone is going, that I know, or has messaged me actually, is going to be recording videos from down there and sending them up to me to hopefully get on the channel with commentary for you after that tournament in early October. And then if it's financially possible and I can get the time off work, Worlds coverage for L5R and Game of Thrones, assuming I can get a bunch of games filmed at Worlds, that will be on the channel after that. So yeah, lots coming up here from Game of Thrones and possibly L5R. So if you want to help out and support the channel, like I said before, click the link in the description below to jump on over to the Patreon page and help support the channel, help offset some of the costs of doing this kind of thing, traveling, equipment, and all that stuff. Much appreciated. Makes it a little easier.
That second winner is coming. It's going to hurt.
So we got Cersei Lannister in there with the Valyrian Steel Blade. She gets stealth on the intrigue challenges now. And I believe the +2 strength. And we got Fast Eddie coming in on the military. But no winner is coming this time. You heard Rick was a little worried about it. Having no dupes on the board, most likely would have lost Littlefinger and Podrick and left Cersei exposed for a possible march to the wall. But then again, we got the 2 gold saved there on the Lannister side. A Burnman could easily jump in. We do have 1 gold saved on the Stark side. That's why Rick was crapping his pants for that event, I'm sure.
I was wondering which way you were going to go with that. Remember to trigger Renown this time.
Oh, yes. Renown was missed last time on Fast Eddie. Robert just realized there. So he's down on 1 power already. Hopefully that doesn't affect the outcome of the game later.
Send it.
Intrigue for
Punish me. 5, 8.
8 strength intrigue challenge coming in here from Sansa and Catelyn. Remember, they're +1 from Winterfell. So the Valyrian Steel Dagger does give +2 strength and gain stealth for that character during intrigue challenges.
I do not.
So we got Nightmares on Winterfell, taking away that +1 strength bonus.
It's going to be unopposed.
So now that what he's done there is Catelyn's now been used up offensively. And Winterfell's been Nightmares, so it's blank. So now we could see a Rains trigger come off here with Cersei coming in, not kneeling on the intrigue challenge. And we got Nightmares on Cersei, though. She is going to be kneeling and not being able to get power from her ability.
Seems good.
So that will allow... She would be 8 strength on the intrigue. Lewin could come in, block for 2. That still lets him win by enough to trigger Rains. So I think what he's doing there is trying to just prevent Rick from doing all 3 challenges. I guess that Nightmares is for. And slowing Cersei down a little on the power gain.
Cards in hand.
Game of Thrones Pod EE, please report to flight control.
It is forced, right? I did the intrigue once. I did the intrigue, and then you won the military.
Intrigue, stealth here.
So he's just looking through his scheme plots there. He's decided to do a Cersei intrigue stealthing Lewin. Because she does still get that stealth from Valyrian Steel Dagger.
It's just because you moved it, and I thought, that's why I missed it.
So yeah, what was I thinking about Lewin defending? There's no way that was going to happen with the stealth, that's for sure. And it looks like it's going to go unopposed here. We see Robert has 4 cards left in hand. He's going to lose one of those. What Rains scheme are we going to see here? I mean, Wildfire just kills Lewin, I guess. You could stand Cersei back up, get an extra power challenge off. I don't know. But I mean, if you do the military with Pod, you're most likely killing Lewin anyway. Or the dupe off Catelyn, I guess. What else could you do? You got Neil, Maester Lewin. That seems meh.
4 cards in hand.
Could see a Red Wedding, which would be juicy. And throw the military challenge in. Instead of doing claim of military claim, you could kill Fast Eddie.
Legend of the 5 Rings.
Or get rid of a dupe off Catelyn.
If you're here for today's casual tournament, we are now accepting registration if you have specific event tickets only.
He could copy the plot, grab a Maester Pycelle using Varys Riddle.
That's Nightmares, right?
I'm sorry?
Once
Yeah,
again,
Nightmares that.
You did.
L5R, Legend of the 5 Rings, the card game.
All right.
If you're here for the casual tournament, the line starts here and makes its way that way. towards the clan banners.
Yep, Red Wedding. Here we go.
That was my play. Unopposed, no claim.
Forgot the faction card Neil on the scheme here, but hopefully it doesn't make a difference.
Military is also unopposed.
Arkham Horror.
And Fast Eddie does get hit by the Red Wedding.
Lord of the Rings, the card game. The cooperative events.
And no card taken out of hand, obviously, because the claim is 0 in Red Wedding.
Event tickets.
And dominance to the Starks.
Lord of the Rings.
And Sansel will grab another power.
Arkham Horror, the card game. Those cooperative
And Robert is up to 5 here on the Stark side, 2 power on the Lannister side.
and the line will form this direction. Towards the walls.
So yeah, another shout out to Canadian Nationals if you are in the Toronto, Ontario area or can get here reasonably well. We're playing up near the Toronto International Airport at the Yorkdale Inn, Toronto. You can find all the information at 401games.ca/FFG Nationals, I believe is the URL, or at least go to 401games.ca and find out more information for Canadian Nationals and come by and play with us, be on live stream, be on videos, come say hi, all that business.
Flight control. And the line forms towards the.
All right, we got Counting Coppers into Ghosts of Harrenhal.
If you are here to play cooperative event this morning. for
So Fast Eddie's going to be coming back from the dead. And so will the Hound.
great flight control.
And the Lannister player is going to draw... Oh, actually, Littlefinger, sorry. Littlefinger's coming back from the dead. And 3 cards extra drawn on the Lannister side.
The card game top 16. Lucas here
All right.
will be checking you
That
in
was the
this
wrong
morning.
call.
Please meet him here in the center of the stage.
The Nightmares was clutch. Because then I kill him and then that's a lot less.
Yeah, Rick's just talking now about that Nightmares on Cersei preventing that extra challenge.
Got it.
Definitely negated the extra kill off of
Got it. I count.
the extra kill off of Red Wedding, which would have sent someone else to the dead pile and covered up Fast Eddie, preventing him coming back in from Ghost of Harrenhal. Unless it was just the Catelyn dupe, that wouldn't have changed things. But Sansa Stark covering up Fast Eddie would have been huge. So we do see Tywin in the hand of Rick now, the Lannister player. Is it his time?
That.
And Littlefinger coming back in play is not too bad, adding an extra gold here for the Lannister player and getting another intrigue body, a decent body at that, at 4 strength back on the board.
Once again, players, if you are here for Legend
And I
of the
believe this
Monsters
Lannister deck is running Milk of the Poppy. I'm pretty sure I got hit with it a couple times on the day. So we could deal with Fast Eddie if he can get that Milk of the Poppy out, but that might also be for Catelyn Stark, actually. So all 3 great hauls now on the Lannister side are just paying for Jaime Lannister straight up here. No sweat at all.
The card game, cooperative events.
And we have a Lanceport Merchant and a gold saved.
The line starts here and moves that direction.
So he decides not to go the Tywin route. He figures he's going first. You got Cersei down, you got Jaime on the board. They don't kneel to attack, and you can leave them up standing to deal with anything coming back at you on the other side.
Generic tickets. Please stay seated
And Catelyn Stark now has both the duplicates on her, so she's going to be sticking around for a while.
Sold out events at this time.
So we do see some of the scheme plots there in Rick's hand. He's got the Wildfire, the Stand, the Kneel. I just didn't see what the 4th one was that he has left. But most likely a Varys Riddle. It's usually the classic choice. So Septa Mordane is now on the board on the Stark side. I think she's given Sansa Renown. I think. Can't remember. Maybe some extra strength. I'll find out here in a second. So, Septa Mordane, while you control Sansa Stark, she gets +2 strength and renown. Okay, I was right. My instincts were right. Arya Stark, she would gain an intrigue icon and immune to opponent's plot effects.
And I will be.
And I think we got a Milk of the Poppy there on Cersei Lannister. So she's not going to be able to do her poke you with an intrigue challenge without kneeling. And she's not going to be gaining any power off cards, leaving the Stark player's hand.
Does. No gold. Still got Fealty up. Cards in hand. Great.
So he only gets the strength.
So Lannister player doing his challenges here. First, being first player. Has a spare gold here to work with. Now he's got to think. If he does the intrigue challenge, he still has stealth on Cersei to stealth out Catelyn, but he's got to deal with Winterfell, which pretty much is doing the same thing. So Rains triggers are going to get hard to go off here again. And I don't see Robert making that mistake again of using Catelyn on the offense like that. But I guess it's not a mistake because Catelyn going in on the offense still prevents the Lannister player from triggering Rains on the defense, which is a possibility. I've seen that many times where a player will go on an intrigue challenge and the Lannister player will just go crazy. Or, sorry, the Rains player will go crazy and just win the intrigue on the defense to trigger Rains. And use like the Neil plot or the Stan's plot to basically turn things around, create kind of a game swing.
Power.
So we got a big power challenge here of 1 from the Lannisport Merchant. Trying to bait someone to kneel down here to see if he can get through a different challenge. Will Robert take the bait? And Maester Lewin's going to block for 3 actually and say no to that. And we got a military of 5 strength with Jaime Lannister. Not kneeling to attack, of course. We could see Fast Eddie just jump in front and block it fully. And get some renown out of it and prevent military claim.
Lord of the Rings is the card game, the cooperative events this morning. Registration begins here.
And he's going to block for 6. Full block, gets renown. No claim.
I got the intrigue left.
For both of these events, if you have a specific event ticket, you can jump in line now. If you have a generic event ticket, we will call you up in a bit if we still have space remaining in these
4
sold out
strength.
events.
5 strength. 4. 5.
That's not good. 5. 5, 5, 4.
5, 5, 4. So you got 14 intrigue, 10 power.
So Rick has quite the mountain of intrigue strength to get through here on the defense if he wants to trigger Rains.
Intrigue.
He's just going to do Jaime Lannister 5 strength on the intrigue challenge. Catelyn's a 5. Sansa Stark's a 5, getting that buff from Septa and Winterfell. And Septa herself is a 4. So he'll have to use 2 characters here if he wants to fully block it. If he lets it go unopposed, we could have a Rains trigger here. Unless Winterfell is knelt. We could have Catelyn jump in front of it to prevent the Rains trigger. And Robert, sorry, is looking at his hand here, seeing how much he cares about his cards.
Said how important are they?
And here Rick making the joke, how important are they? That's what he knows. Let's see. And then again, the Stark player has to think, what can he actually push through on his challenges? And can he get anything through here? And if not, you might as well just fully defend, but he might be able to take some characters down doing his own challenges and maybe pull through dominance. But the Lannister player is sitting on at least 1 gold there, we see. So I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Or no. Yeah, you're right.
So fully blocked here with Septa and Sansa. Sansa has renown off of Septa. And that's all the challenges for Lannister player. Over to the Stark player who has Catelyn Stark standing. 5 strength, intrigue or power.
That's done.
And he's gonna do no challenges. And Dominus will go to the Lannister player. And we're at 6 for this, actually 7 for the Starks, 8 for the Starks, with Sansa standing, and 3 power on the Lannister side. So a pretty tight game here overall. A lot of pressure from the Stark player at the beginning, kind of set the Lannister player back here. And the Stark player is doing a good job of controlling the Lannister player, not letting him get away with the swingy effects to change the game here. Keeping him pretty slowed down while the Stark player ekes out a little power here and there, playing defensively.
Legend of the Five Rings, the card game competitors.
And we got counting coppers on the Stark side to draw 3 cards, and confiscation and remove an attachment, most likely the Milk of the Poppy, which it looks like that's the case. So the milk is coming off of Cersei Lannister. She's back in play again until she gets the next milk put on her, or another Nightmares.
With your table number, please report to that table and begin your first game against the person seating across from you. In the second round, you'll be playing the person who is at the same table tent as you, but diagonal. And the third round, you'll be playing the person who is seated at the same table tent as you, but next to you on the same side.
So if you guys are listening at all to the FFG announcer, they're describing how the Legend of the Five Rings players are paired against each other to play each other. It was a huge joke at Gen Con, especially during the 700-man tournament. Trying to pair everyone up was so silly, using different colored wristbands, numbers on the wristbands, doing some math, adding them together, subtracting them, whatever the hell they were doing. There were hundreds of people walking around lost for like 40 minutes trying to figure out who they were playing, including myself. It was kind of a huge joke, and anyone who could figure out quickly, I don't know if it's an old L5R way of pairing things, but it was super silly and the biggest waste of people's time at a convention ever. And you can hear them doing it right now during the L5R tournament they were doing on the Sunday, trying to tell people you're playing the person who's 4 to the right and across from you, facing the south where the wind is blowing to the north, and blah, blah, blah. It was so silly, so stupid. And I don't know why they're trying to make it so confusing. But yeah, that's my rant on that one. Just wasting people's time at a convention they all paid to be at with tons of other things to do was super stupid and very poor on FFG's part. So that's my one big complaint from giving L5R a try there at Gen Con. But you can hear it there if you go back and listen to them talking about how they're pairing their casual Sunday tournament. Was super stupid, especially for a tournament when most players are new, you would think. So we see Tywin's now on the board. Bran Stark's also out there. Got a Winterfell Steward. 3 great hauls on the board. This Lannister player is just going to be able to flop out any big uniques he wants now with no questions asked. We see he does have Tyrion in hand. So the whole Lannister family is just going to come out to play here. And I'm starting to get the feeling that this Stark player is either trying to win before playing Valor or maybe not playing Valor at all. And I know the Lannister player is not playing Valor at all. And Seal the Hand on Tywin is a huge play. He's going to get double use out of Tywin every round. Not to mention if he can get Power Behind the Throne out of his scheme deck off, that's like 3 Tywins in a round on offense and or defense. That's pretty nuts. So let's see if Rick, the Lannister player, can get in the game here and get more than the 3 power going. Try to get some power on Jaime, Cersei, and Tywin. But the Stark player going first here, looks like. 2 goals saved on the Lannister side. Stark player is going to try to get some challenges through here, possibly. Got a bodyguard on Fast Eddie. So he might be setting up for a nice juicy Valor.
Legend of the Five Rings competitors. If you are here,
and we got Tywin, who's basically the whole Lannister board would just wash right away to the dead pile, which probably should have happened earlier. But I mean, all he would have had was Catelyn stuck around, so we might not want to do that. But now with Fast Eddie having a bodyguard, we might see that happen here.
For the casual tournament this morning.
Yeah, casual L5R tournament. You just heard him there, and he's making super complicated pairings. I don't know why he's doing that. And trying to tell you in your first round, you're sitting down, You're trying to shuffle your deck, figure out what's going on, and they're telling you your pairings for the next 3 rounds based on you counting how many players are around the table and across the table and all this business. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. All right, all right. End rant. End
In order
rant.
to get product, if you have a specific event ticket, you must get in line right now.
So you see both these players here making careful decisions here on the challenges phase, not to let too much go here, and to be very careful, very slow, methodical. That's how they got here to the top 16. They don't want to let it all slip away here in a loss. They want to make it on to the top 8.
Yeah, I don't know how much swings it, because, like,
And after some thinking, we have a power in here with Maester Lewin and Bran Stark, both getting the +1 bump off of Winterfell. So I believe it's for 5, I think. And Tywin with a +2 gold buff here, being 8 strength, can just block it and get a renown.
He's got a stack. Defend.
And we got to seal the hand stand on Tywin right away here, and he gets a renown on the defense. So 4 power now on the Lannister side. He's looking to get back into here, and you got to do it by getting as much power as you can on offense or defense. And also slowing the Stark player down. Who's slowly eking up here, getting tons of power every round by just using Sansa and Fast Steady. And he's not even using Fast Steady to his full ability by throwing him in with 2 people on a power challenge and getting the extra renown trigger.
I was putting you on a risen.
And I think the Stark player's passed over to the Lannister player here for his challenges.
yes,
Military.
And does he have a put to the sword in hand? Because we've got military coming here with Jaime and Tywin. 13 strength. Jaime not kneeling to attack, obviously. Fast Eddie going in to block for 6, which is not enough to prevent the put the sword anyway. It does block the unopposed.
Just the metal. Got it?
You hear Robert there asking if he's got it. We know it's put to the sword he's asking for, but he's just trying to get some renown on his dudes, and it makes sense. That's how he's going to win the game. That's his game plan. Just get his big dudes on the board, fill them up with power, and win the game. And he's getting in that position now where they are loose, quote-unquote, to start gaining power on them.
5.
Ooh, I got it. Okay. 4 and 5. So that's
Legend of the Five Rings, the
9
card game
strength.
players. This is the last call if you have
9
a
there.
specific event ticket for
14 on
Legend of the
injury.
Five Rings. Legend of the Five Rings competitors, some information for the event today. If you can hear me, please raise your hand. Everyone who's not raising their hand, poke them so they listen. Hello, all the Legend of the Five Rings competitors who should be raising their hands. Wonderful. So today's event is a casual tournament. For us, that means you're going to be playing with.
So I do apologize for this announcer here.
Are seated very close to you right now. So you're currently going to be playing the person across from you.
Here we go.
for the
Let's
first
listen to the pairings.
They have the same number on their wristband as you do, just a different color wristband. For the second round, look at the table tent that shows you what
Intrigue with
table
just
you're
Cersei.
at.
So we have an intrigue challenge, just Cersei Lannister.
Across that table tent, at the player sitting on the other
Should
side
have
of
a
the
stealth
table,
going off here.
One table away from you.
Yep.
You'll be playing them
She is 8 strength because of Valerian
for
Steel
the
Dagger.
second round. Everybody know who they're playing? If you don't, raise your hand. Do you see someone diagonally across the table tent from you? Excellent. If there is someone missing,
Oh, man.
the judge will come around and help you figure that out. But otherwise, they should be diagonally across the table tent from you. For the third round,
No,
Same table tent.
did I
Look at the
stealth?
person who is
say
sitting
stealth?
next to you.
Yeah. Did I not say it?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, yeah. I was
So
I
effectively,
wasn't
you're
gonna
going to
stealth
play
there.
all three.
So we got a
people
stealth on
that are
Sansa Stark. I
also
guess
sitting
Rick
at the
forgot to
same
do it. I
table
didn't see him
tent
do
as
it
you.
either, but in his
First
head he did it.
round, the person across from
And
you.
Robert is going to honor that.
Diagonally from you. And third round, the person next to you.
So we got 9 coming in on the block.
If anyone does not understand that, please
No
raise your
shenanigans
hand.
since Catelyn's in the challenge, unless we have a Nightmares fly out here.
Wonderful. For the second and third round, we'll be sending the judges around to hand out prizes. If you manage to get to the second and third round before our timers or before the judges get to you, be sure to just raise your hand and call them over, and they can get you your prize. For the winner of each of those rounds,
Strength
the
5, right?
Keeper's
Grade 5.
Initiate is for the second round winners, and the Seeker Initiate is for the
I'll
third
steal
round
one.
winners.
You'll get it back with her, but I'll take Dom, so I will.
And now,
So we got a power with Cersei here for 6 strength.
generic event tickets for the
Sansa is a
Legend of
5.
Rains, the card game
6.
casual tournament. The registration line will
And
start
no
here
shenanigans
at
there
the
with
flag
Winterfell
control
going
and
down.
move towards the clan banners.
And 5
Generic
defense.
event tickets.
Power gets
For
claimed.
specific event tickets at this point, just jump in line here at the blue plate control, and the line forms towards the
And
clan
that should be
banners.
dominance to the Lannisters here.
Past challenges, it's Dom to me. You'll get a power for the stand.
And Sansa Stark, of course, generating a power again there.
No, that's I,
So the Lannister player is sitting at 8 power now. And the Stark player looks like he's at 6 on his house card, 2 on his characters, I believe, there. So we have a tie game now.
That's your discard. Is your discard?
And slowly the Stark player, I'm sure, is realizing that even though they have roughly, I think, the same amount of characters, or yes, the Stark player has 1 extra character on the board. It's the character quality that's definitely heavily in favor on the Lannister side, just having better dudes per card, better strength values, better abilities, bringing more to the table here. And slowly the Lannister players come back here. So we have Political Disaster played on the Stark side under the glare there, and a second Ghost of Harrenhal played here.
Player?
This time on the Lannister side. So Stark player just loses a Archery Grove. And we got 2 Great Halls going away on the Lannister side. But at this point, when he already has Tywin, Jaime, and 7-cost Cersei on the board, he's not too worried about losing those Great Halls, I'm sure. And we see the Hound was brought back in. And so was a Winterfell Steward, I believe, from the Ghost of Harrenhal. So the Stark player is going first here. Pops King's Road into play. Makes sense if you're playing Political Disaster to be using King's Roads. So your Political Disasters don't hit you as hard as you expect them to hit your opponent. So King's Road popped right away. Great Hall going down here. Who are we seeing here? Who's coming to play? It's Robb Stark. Do we have Robb Stark? Yes, it is Robb Stark.
Good. It is good.
Legend, sorry, Lord of the Rings, the card game competitors.
And a bodyguard on Robb
Here
Stark.
for the casual.
So I'm going to say here now, by this point, for sure, there is no Valar Morghulis in either one of these decks. Because I feel we've seen some good opportunities for both players to have slapped it down on the board in this game. And both haven't. Both are playing Ghost of Harrenhal, which is a counter to Valor. I mean, you can play Valor and then do that yourself. But, I mean, most likely decks not playing a heavy reset are using that. We know there is a Wildfire Assault in the Scheme deck on the Lannister side, but is there a Wildfire in the Stark deck? And we got the Lannister player marshalling here, getting the Lannisport Merchant in off of a Lannisport Merchant. Reduction. And we got Tyrion Lannister on the board. 2 gold remaining. And he's going to save 2, which he may have for a burn man. I'll put to the sword, a hound. He just threw his limited out there at the end with a Rose Road. So he's got Tyrion out there to fund the hound bounce. Or like I said, the burn man, put to the sword. Or any other tricks that may be in this Lannister deck. Could be some Tears action happening. 3 cards left in the Lannister player's hand. Trying to see what they are. Can't really see them right now. So with the Stark player having to go first here, he's going to count through what's possible here. He can't keep going first and doing challenges if he's not gaining enough from it and then letting the Lannister player just hit him back even harder. And with Tywin on the board with a seal of the hand, that's 2 possible renown right there. Plus Jaime's renown, plus Cersei's ability, assuming the Stark player still has some cards in hand. That's like 4 power right there alone. Plus power claim, that's a 5th power. Dominance, another power.
Big wall you got over there.
And yeah, you hear the Stark player complaining about the big wall of characters he's looking at now. And this is what happens, boys and girls, when you don't play Valar Morghulis in your deck. And your opponent doesn't either. It slows the game down to a halt. Everyone trying to do math, figure out what they can do, if they can get challenges through or not, what they can bait their opponent to do. You know, you got to sit there and scan across for each challenge type, each strength type, and for offense and defense. Not the most fun time in Game of Thrones, that's for sure, but...
Go big, go home.
So yeah, the Stark player he says go big or go home.
Yes, the math works out.
He's going to go power challenge, Fast Eddie,
7, 6,
Robb Stark, Winterfell Steward, and Bran Stark. 17 strength, getting the Winterfell buffs here. Tywin is an 8 strength.
Okay. It's a lot of power.
we got a lot of power on the board. One of us needs to run daggone reset.
Yeah. Here, Robert making comments about one of them needs to run a reset. So they're definitely not both. They're both definitely not running it. So the Stark player, if he wins the power challenge here, he can claim 1,
7, 8,
get 2 for a down, and then trigger Fast Eddie's ability to get an extra power out of it.
14.
So it could gain 4 power out of this challenge alone. But it looks like Rick's debating the full block on it to possibly get some power on his side instead and stuff the Stark player completely, shutting down 2 renown, Fast Eddie's ability, and the power claim. So if the Stark player can defend, or if the Lannister player can defend it, instead of him losing 4 power,
We won gold. That's enough to think about.
and not to mention unopposed possibilities.
17 strength.
17 straight.
I had 10,
Yeah, you could do it with just the Hound there, Littlefinger,
18.
and Tywin, and then stand Tywin right after that. You can even get the Hound back to hand doing that.
So if I play that, and then you do that, and I do that, cancel it. So it would be 18 to 7. Okay.
Minutes, guys. 5 minutes.
Unless I'm missing something, I'm going to defend with six, 10. He's a 19 to your 17.
Sounds right.
So it looks like we had a Widow's Will coming out there. We got 19 on the defense now, 17 on the offense.
Okay, those are my defenders. Action to you.
And
I'm gonna play Renown.
should have the Hound forced reaction happen, of course. So he's going to do Seal the Hand, I guess, first there as an action. And we forget the force on the Hound.
All right, I don't see if the math just comes any easier. Tell me, sir.
Okay.
And he moves the Hound to the back row there. I don't know. I mean, I forget the Hound sometimes too. We all have and we all do, but
I know.
let's see if either player catches it here.
That. I think I have to start.
So Lannister player's going on challenges here. He's got Jaime who doesn't kneel, Cersei that doesn't kneel. He's got Tywin standing. He's got Tyrion with stealth. He's got Podrick there for backup.
3,
And if he remembers to bounce the Hound,
5.
he could, nah, I guess not play the Hound at all. He's only got 1 gold left.
This is another 5. So that's 13.
You can get 2 with
13,
Tyrion.
Counting Septa. I think she's my stealth target. 13. So.
I think he's looking for a range trigger here. And he could do it to either kneel someone or stand someone on his side. He could kneel someone on the defense and maybe get through an unopposed that he couldn't get through before. But most likely he'll stand someone back up on his side. Maybe a Tywin, Jaime, someone to get extra renown.
Here.
But I guess Tywin would be the only one to for sure get that extra renown. Because Jaime can only do it on power challenge or military challenges. Cersei only gets her fake renown there on intrigue challenges or cards leaving the hand. So Tywin is your more classic renown. We'll definitely get it for sure. So we got an intrigue here with Cersei, stealthing Septa. No, it's stealthing Catelyn Stark, actually. He said it was going to be Septa. But Rick lied. He lied. So we got Winterfell knelt right away. Septa goes in on the defense.
Pose. You're first player, so I can't trigger that. Because you get to do Winterfell first.
Yeah, so no Tyrion trigger, as they've done properly here, since first player triggered Winterfell first.
Hound should have gone back to hand.
And there we go. Rick did remember the Hound, so he wasn't trying to be shady, just forgot him.
Force reaction. Force? Yeah. I mean, I'll leave him out there. You know. Not ambushing him back in. Okay, so we go to claim.
Oh, grabs a copy of
That's a good card to get rid of.
Winter is Coming,
Card to get rid of.
and you hear it say that's a good card. That is a good card to get rid of, that's for sure. That was the one that hit pretty hard at the start there with the 2 claim military.
5, 8 power.
And I'm sure we might have seen it played on that power challenge there from the Stark player this turn if he was able to win that challenge.
So I think I can.
Could have got some extra power there on the double claim. Slowing the Lannister player down a little bit more, too.
We gotta do the power with these 2. And I
Should still Sansa Stark, so she doesn't kneel. Yep. But if he's trying to get tricks, he needs to stealth out Catelyn.
Seems like I got enough. Power stealthing Sansa.
So Sansa Stark's been stealth. Catelyn will go in.
Block it. Wasn't unopposed. Go to claim.
We claim. We should get a renown on Tywin here.
Keywords is renown.
So Lannister player is now 4 away from winning. Still has a military challenge to do.
I have no actions. I will pass to Dom.
And he's just going to take dominance.
And we stand.
And no Sansa Stark trigger this time since she's still standing. So things have definitely turned around in the Lannister player's favor here in the long game.
So you're still in standing phase.
Oh, time was called there, so that was the last round, actually. We have the judge standing by to let them know that's the last round. And, yeah, so it goes to Rick. Congrats to the Lannister player, Rick, there, for winning the long game, coming back there and crushing it. And he will move on to the top 8, so you'll see him most likely coming up in a future video. Like I said, we have 3 rounds coming up from the top 8, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe so you get notifications. Hit that little alarm bell button beside it so you get those messages letting you know when the videos are up. And I appreciate all the support, guys, even just the views. I appreciate you sharing the videos, hitting the like button, leave comments below. And like I said, you can always donate, patreon.com/Rob's Gaming Table, to help offset the cost of some of this work I do and help get me to more tournaments so you can get more videos. Win-win. Anyways, thanks a lot. See you in the next video.